Yo. What is going on, guys? It is your boy Player X here with the Semi-Limited Podcast. Let me just do that again. It's your boy Player X here with the Semi-Limited Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another installment of the greatest podcast that TCG has probably ever heard of, probably will ever hear of for the rest of their entire existence. And we're back for yet another episode. On today's episode, we will be diving into what happened at YCS Sacramento that went down over the weekend, as well as a few announcements from Konami that they revealed to us as well. And then basically, what will players do if this ban list that we're supposed to be getting kind of sucks? We'll also be having a returning guest to be part of these festivities as well. But before all that, you guys know we have to get into these sponsored plugins. So without any further ado, please go down to that Linktree link in the description box down below to follow all of our social sites. You can click on that tab, and a whole bunch of pages will pop up where you can follow, subscribe, like, share, whatever it is that you guys want to do. Be sure to do it right down there in those contents. We will also be doing more giveaways when we hit more of our accolades for our social sites. So I think the goals are 50 for TikTok, 100 for 100 followers for Twitter and X, 200 followers for IG and Discord, or 200 members, I guess, for Discord, and then 500 subs on YouTube. We also like to shout out Unplugged Gaming in Banlist, New York for sponsoring the podcast. They usually do be giving us all of the things that we give out for you guys on these giveaways, whether it be sealed product or maybe some merchandise, some accessories, here and there. You never quite know, but they are the ones who hook us up, so we hook you up with their stuff. So be sure to join their Discord server in the description box below to be a part of all the TCGs communities that they have available to you guys. Whether it be the new up-and-coming Lorcana, One Piece is still definitely taking off, Magic the Gathering is still a solid card game. No matter what it is, if you guys play it on cardboard, you can go down to their Discord, find a community that you want to interact with or kind of just pick up from, and then interact with some guys, maybe the girls, you never know, and find out who has the cards you might need, maybe some practice times or whatever like that. But if you guys do wind up going in-store, be sure to tell them that the boys over at Semi-Limited Podcast sent you, so that way they can hook you guys up, all right? Also, lastly, be sure to catch Brad, aka Mr. Perfect, live streaming every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. His Twitch will be in our Linktree link down below, so if you click on that, you can also see a link to Brad's Twitch, where he usually is doing deck theorying. He's usually doing probably some crafting. He might be on Master Duel. He might be grinding on DB, EDO Pro, whatever it comes out to. You know what I'm saying? He's basically doing it all. So be sure to interact with him in his chat and catch him on stream again every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But before we start digging into today's episode, I'd also like to introduce our guest for today. This Missouri native has been featured on many episodes, this platform, from this year, last year, and since conception, honestly. I love having him on. Blossoming friendship between the guys and the bro code over there. So please give it up for none other than your boy, Vengeful Shad0wz. What's going on, my man?
How's it going, guys? I do appreciate it, Mr. X, for having me on. It is always fun coming back to the Semi-Limited Podcast. And honestly, just always a good time to be here. And especially right now with everything that's happening in the game, there's a lot of crazy stuff that's actually happening. And I just want to say, everyone, definitely check us out at Vengeful Shad0wz on YouTube. And we do a little streaming on Twitch, but everything is primarily on YouTube right now. And that's Vengeful Shad0wz, Shadows with the 0WZ. It's a little different, but, that's how we do it around here. Oh, yep. To be just switching my name to that,
Yeah, you might as well,
Yeah.
It might be shorter.
Yeah, 0WZ, bro.
But yeah, both of our games actually have been going through a whole bunch of changes and turns and twists, both card games and online Fortnite games and stuff like that. So we've been having a lot. You want to tell people? Oh, sorry. Now that people know where to get your content, do you want to tell them where they can get hold of you on social media or anything like that?
Absolutely. Yep, we are on X, Twitter, whichever you want to call it. We got that same tag, Vengeful Shad0wz, on there, and as well as Twitch if we are ever back doing a lot of that. That was mainly for Destiny streams. A lot of the people on there know me from Destiny. So right now, when we do streaming anymore in the future, it's on YouTube. And
they're like, yo, where's the Destiny? Where's the raid?
Yeah. No, I'm on Fortnite.
You're just going full combo.
Yeah, just on Fortnite. Fortnite and Yugioh, man.
Yeah, right. We switched it up now. But now that
pretty
that's
much.
all out of the way, let's get into today's episode, starting off with YCS Sacramento that happened over the weekend. This post-Nats event was held August 17th until the 18th of 2024, and it took place in Sacramento, California. With only a total number of 890 duelists in attendance, this wasn't nearly as big as any of the other events that we've previously had this year. With less than 900 duelists, players had to manage to get through only 11 rounds of Swiss instead of the usual 12 rounds that they're accustomed to. And it meant that our top 64 representation would only be cut down in half to top 32, advancing on to keep playing, which is a little bit more rewarding for the attendees with when there's top 64, just because those X1s can actually make their way in and they're also guaranteed. But like with top 32 X1 status, you're not even guaranteed to get in just with the amount of sheer numbers that are trying to get in right along with you. So I do attend personally to like a little bit more the longer tournaments where there are like 10 rounds day one and then 2 rounds day two, but you can't really win them all. And this was a kind of a shaky period for people to be playing Yu-Gi-Oh to begin with. So day one of the event consisted of 9 rounds of Swiss with 2 more rounds going into day two for a total of 11 rounds before our transition into Top Cut. Your Top Cut breakdown for Sacramento is as followed. For top 32, we had 18 of Fiend Smith Snake Eye players,
Hey.
8 Bell Fiend Smith players,
Yep.
2 Tenpai Dragon, 2 Runic Stun, 1 Whitewoods Runic, and then 1 Fiend Smith Memento. Moving over to top 16, we had only 9 Fiend Smith Snake Eyes. We had 3 Fiend Smith Bells, 1 OVs with the Tenpai Dragon, White Forest Memento, and 1 of the Runics still remain to fight it all out. Then that takes us away to top 8 as we dwindle away to only 4 Snake Eye players, 3 Bells, and 1 lone Tenpai. Eventually, this came down to the finals where we have Tenpai and Snake Eyes duking it out. That one Tenpai player literally made it all the way out, being the last rogue deck of the format, grinding it out to the finals. But alas, in the end, it came down to a familiar face and a familiar name winning it all, Mr. Jesse Cotton, piloting his Fiendsmith Snake Eyes cards all the way to the top and winning YCS Sacramento. Basically, I would say late until last Sunday. This is Jesse Cotton's 6th YCS win, as he is now tied for the most number of YCS wins by a single duelist with Chris LeBlanc, who won it, I think, earlier this year and is hold on to it. And now I think they're only second to Chris or Christian Urena, if I'm not mistaken, who has 5. So those are the, I would guess, top 3 duelists, you would say, if you want to look at the track records. But what were your thoughts on the tournament? Did you have any insight that, because I'm pretty sure you didn't stream it, but you guys did watch it, correct? If I wasn't mistaken.
Oh yeah, I was definitely watching that. Day one and a lot or I guess as much as I could. Day two, I went out, with the lady, but we came back, caught the end, especially for Jesse Cotton. And as always, like you were saying, like it must be a little crazy being in those tournaments and like that's who you have to play against. It's like, oh my god, that must be a little nuts.
I'd
But
be heartbroken.
exactly. But I mean, at some point you have to. It's almost like you're like, I guess they hope he gets knocked out by someone else,
Yeah, right.
But
Someone else do my dirty work for me.
yeah. It's like Fortnite. You're like, oh, let the that guy play around on that side of the map for a bit, and hopefully I'll
We're just
find
gonna
him at
third
the
party
end.
him.
Yeah, we're just gonna third party. Not, I guess you can't do that in Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's a little not allowed. As for the tournament. So this was an off-season YCS, or it's like for next season, but it's technically like this format for next season, correct? Is
Yep.
this like
Yep.
something that they just did this YCS? Because I heard like we don't have much of an
Well,
off-season
we
this
usually
year.
don't get YCSs until after
Yeah,
like September, until like an October YCS or something like that. So for them to have
yeah,
one right in August, right after nationals, is weird because
exactly.
most players do tend to sell all of their nationals or all
Hmm.
their cards at nationals. Like if right or the second round one starts at nationals, all of your cards have lost like 55 to
Yeah,
60% of their value. So like
yeah.
you definitely want to move them beforehand. So I was even surprised that 800 people showed up. You know what I'm saying? This is not only about the attendance thing, but like amount of like who wants to play, but while
Oh
we're
yeah,
still in like in
no.
between formats.
And they literally threatened like halfway through that, like, hey man, I know that deck you're using is pretty cool, but good luck with that. You know what
Yeah,
I
we
mean?
see how good
Like
it is.
we
Yeah,
see that. Yeah, I mean it's like basically you're sitting there like the owner of the building and like the game you're playing is like threatening you the entire tournament. Like it's like,
literally.
yeah,
Which
you enjoy it right now. Yeah. Like
yeah, you
so
keep
I don't
winning
know.
there, guy.
Exactly.
What
Like
what
see
cards
how
did you
long that
use to
wins
win
for you.
again? Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it's just
okay.
writing it down. Like you see the judges just taking
How
notes
many
and stuff,
copies of
like the
that did you
entire.
use?
Yeah, just like feeding the deck lists into a machine. Like, okay, let's see what we can get out of here. So,
Automatically, AI is just controlling all of our ban lists now.
oh no, you know what? I have low hope. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's
right.
okay.
Were there anything
Maybe it's
like
better.
surprising decks or strats that you saw that kind of like popped up and were like,
Um.
oh shit, look at that.
So, okay, I'll be honest. I missed it because apparently it was on stream, and I'm very disappointed that that's not the one I saw. But the Archfiend combo, which like one shot the dude with Bell, I guess, like was what
Oh yes,
happened
the
where he used
FTK,
like,
the FTK. Yeah, we
yeah,
have
yeah, with
FTK
the
fucking you
Earthbound
bells now.
trap. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I like seeing that type of stuff actually pay off on the stream.
You would
I
like the
think.
fucking FTKs.
Oh, bro! I mean, that's what like. It's like everyone's wet dream as a Yu-Gi-Oh player to like do some stupid combo on stream. I mean, that's like what people literally live
I
for. I
guess
mean, look
that's
at the
true. I
Exodia.
guess
You know,
that's
I
true.
mean, it's
Yeah.
like he didn't make it to the end, or I
We
guess
did
he
chant
did, but
one
he
last
lost.
piece.
Yeah,
Yeah, true.
exactly. One last piece, exactly. Um, so that was cool. I think you and me were actually discussing that I would love to see a little more Kokimiro Drago on stream. I think that's something that gets played a lot of the times off stream
Oh yeah,
against some
true.
of the
Yep.
meta, and like we don't. Anytime we see a Tenpai player going for it, they just get like the effect gets stopped by something, so we don't
You get
actually get to
impermed off the
see
rip. Like
like
damn.
how. Yeah, exactly. So we don't actually get to see how glorious some of those things can be. And I guess I know Memento did decent, so I guess that was kind of
Oh
cool.
yeah.
I don't think we actually got to see much of the Memento. They probably showed it earlier on, but I don't know. That's like one of the decks I don't like follow heavily, but I know that's actually kind of cool that we're seeing that deck could potentially be a little better, especially if Konami does deal with a lot of the modern decks that people are using. So
No, I agree. I always thought Memento was like a gimmicky deck. Don't get me
hmm
wrong, but
yeah,
it still is solid in what it does. It puts up like what is it, like 7 negates or something like that, or 7 disruptions, and it's got a 1 card starter. It's got a whole bunch of non-engine it can fit in there. It's got things going for it for sure. So it's definitely an interesting one. I did like to see a bunch of the pure cash players still trying to make it work. Like they didn't think that, like they thought a Rise Heart was coming back off the next list or something like that. They're just prepping up for it. But I did see a couple of the cash players in there. I thought the only interesting thing that I thought about this whole stream was round one. Round one was so bad.
oh
So
no. Wait a minute. I had
bad.
it. That took me back, bro. That took me back. Okay, yeah. Yeah. That was a okay. So you have to explain to me. I'm gonna say something, and I really don't want to sound like this. Okay, was it with the dude who was nodding off? Was that like with the dude who was like falling
There was a
asleep
couple people who were
halfway
nodding
through?
off.
Oh,
But
oh
the
my god, that's
first
horrible.
round
Okay.
was the guy who it was like a Dark World Fabled
Yeah,
Feedster player. And
yeah.
he just either
Ubel
A
versus
did
Ubel,
not know
right?
what well, yeah, versus Ubel. But the funniest part was they said that
Yeah,
that guy
that's
was
the
playing for 15 fucking years. So there's no way that that guy was playing for 15 years. And if
you're
he
talking about Dark
was,
Worlds, right?
yeah, the Dark World
Okay,
player.
cool,
Yeah,
cool, 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 cool,
he
cool.
should have won that game in like by turn 3.
See, I'm
The
talking
first
about
game
Ubel, but
went to
yeah, no,
like
I remember
7
Dark World
turns.
player. Yeah, no, you like I know everyone was like roasting the like his plays and then roasting the Ubel player, you know.
Oh, absolutely. They
So
were both
yeah.
trash. And
Yeah, so
some
mm,
people were defending them like, first round jitters, they're inexperienced, it's a feature event. They could have some like nerves and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, fuck that. The first round of a YCS should have some people who at least know how to play their decks.
yeah.
Those guys both played like they put their decks together 10 minutes before having to start round 1.
Well,
Like
to be fair, like I know the crew or like the like whatever department they have that's actually like selecting, who goes on to the feature. They're looking for some just fresh stuff to put on feature, okay? So it's
agreed,
like
which is
I like
probably why that guy got on.
yeah, that's the only reason that guy got on. But it's like that's the problem. It's like, so you're gonna see some jitters and stuff like that. And then also you have three judges like hawking down your match, and you normally don't have people
Yeah.
watching you play. You know what I mean? So it's like if you do anything, you're getting a warning. And that's the other thing. Like, I'll be honest, like I like that we're like, I want to say strict, but we're like, like according to the book, you just messed up. You need a warning. Blah blah blah. Like, I like that. There's no
Yeah,
room
we're
for
very
like, oh,
thorough.
you're my buddy. You don't get a warning. Like, I remember back when that were like issues. So it's like I'm glad everyone's like straight across the board with that. But it does lead to some weird stuff where it's like you are taking these people who have never played on stream before. Some of them, you're putting them in front of like 1,000 people, in front of three judges sitting down, and if they do one misplay, you're giving them a warning that carries through all the way through the
The
tournament.
rest of the
And it's just
tournament,
like,
yeah.
bro, that's the only thing that I've ever really not liked about some of that. Because, like, let me tell you, like, when we streamed for Yeti Gaming in like 2013, 2014, okay? Like, when that first started popping off and the commentary, like, we would go out there and correct game state, we got yelled at by Konami judges to not do that because it's not fair to everyone else in the tournament, as well as potentially the people there like playing, because like, oh, I'm interrupting one person and maybe I didn't see someone else make the misplay,
That's fair. That's
like
fair.
it just like it. Well, I mean, it's nice having three judges that are doing it across the board. It's a little bit like cleaner now because you have people hawking it down. I'll be honest, they are reading chat. I know some people don't think the judges are reading chat, but they are reading chat. So if something happens and you say it, they're gonna rewind, they're gonna check it, and they will cancel it. Okay, they're gonna pause and fix it. So it's like at least it is literally like no one's skating through, and that I respect. Like at that level, like that's like some professional stuff. It would be really rough watching them play through a misplay, and then the only reason so and so won against this guy who's really good is because a misplay happened. That would suck. So it's like I do appreciate and like this version better that we're doing instead of like not interrupting. But like again, that does like leave a lot of pressure on these new players. Sorry, I just ranted there a lot.
You did bring
So.
up a couple of points. I'm super black and white. Sorry, black and white. Black and white sometimes with the way I look at
Mhm.
things, and this is like one of those things where it's like you have an option to opt out of any stream.
For
You don't
real.
have to be in any stream. There's a little opt out thing that if you're chosen, they walk up to you and say, "Hey, you've been chosen for a feature match. Would you like to participate?" And you can say yes right there because you know everything that it
Fair.
entails,
Yep.
or you can say no because you
Fair.
don't know what the fuck it entails. So you don't know that there's going to be three judges on top of you. Most people don't know, especially if you're going up there, that you're if you get a PE minor or a major, that shit follows you for the rest of the tournament, and you better not mess up again. Most people don't know that everyone, when they get done with their round, is going to huddle over you and then start judging you. You've got whispers in the crowd, and people are saying, "Oh, that guy's trash," or "This is garbage. This guy doesn't know how to combo. He's misplaying." There's a lot of things on the line, but you don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? You have an option to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I look at it. If you're gonna say yes, at least know what the fuck you're doing. You don't have to know what your opponent does, because I don't ever expect I don't expect my opponent to know what my deck does if I'm playing something that's non-meta, like some kind of rogue or like tier 2 strategy or some shit like that. Like Mementos. I expect that guy, Clifton or whatever, he probably had to explain his cards a couple times, like a couple
Yeah.
rounds. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time, maybe like the higher up duelists knew what the fuck the cards did, even if they didn't know what the combos were. But most of the time, I don't expect you to know what my deck does. I do fully expect you to know what your deck does,
Yeah.
is the way I'm
Yeah.
looking at it.
Well, that should be the absolute like like starter thing that you need. Like the primary thing is like if you don't know what your own deck does, why are you playing this, bro? Like I mean, I guess some
Yeah, like
people could borrow decks from other friends and stuff. It's still it's like then again, like you said, that's a choice. You did that, and I like that. No, like for real. Like especially like when we're talking about round one. Like this isn't the
yeah,
finals. This isn't the
correct.
finals. This is round one.
You weren't
Like
heating up, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah,
nigga?
yeah,
You
yeah,
just
yeah,
pulled
yeah.
up, rolled up to the stadium,
No,
and
for
they said,
sure.
"Yeah, you want to be on stream," and they both were like, "Yeah." The guy was
Yeah,
like
bro.
crying on stage afterwards too, like all of his nerves just kind of like let out at one moment,
Yeah.
and he was just like choking up, and you can see he was getting teary eyed just because like a lot of emotions were going through, bro. It's a lot of pressure to be up there. Some people really
Yeah.
don't understand it.
No, I mean, and I like that aspect that's coming to the game actually, because like now you see, and I was even like, I'll watch it with my wife and stuff, and it's like you see people that like roll up with the drip. You know what I mean? Like they are decked out to be on stream in like badass outfits and stuff. I mean, even the like
Yep.
announcers and stuff, like they're now rolling up in suits. I mean, we got the pheromone guy, like he literally has like all like the pin matching suit and everything like that, and the like announcers are all decked out and stuff. So I don't know, we're moving to where it's like socially like we can look people in the eyes and have conversations and play Yu-Gi-Oh in our off time. It's pretty sweet,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I just feel like we're just getting there, and like you said, it's like people don't understand until they're on the stream in front of all these
Yeah.
people, knowing, like you said, like every misplay you do, everyone's looking at it, it's like, bro, you should do that, or you should have done that, or oh man, like you missed like this combo right there. Like I
Mhm.
don't know, it's a lot of stress to happen. Like
It's funny, in the back of my head, I always have this. There's a meme in our group chat, our Yu-Gi-Oh group chat, where if any of our boys were on stream,
mhm.
we would all be roasting them like if they
Yes,
misplayed. So the funniest thing would be
yes,
like one person would be like, "All right, I'm gonna take one card out of my hand," and he's gonna like motion to put it onto the field. And as he motions to put it onto the field, he's just gonna feel like 8 vibrations
yep,
and it's like going like
yep.
just everyone in the group chat is already on their toes, ready to roast him.
It's like,
So
no, not that
we,
one.
we we all know how that shit goes. I mean, yeah, it's fun and entertainment, but it does add a different layer to the competition that most people aren't ready for because they're not used to being on. I mean, you can go to a locals, you can go to a regional, you can experience playing around that many people, but when you're on a stream and a camera's pointing at you and it's go time and all those lights are shining bright and those people are loud and like it's a different experience, man. It's a whole different entity altogether.
Yeah, and you got
But is
actual
there
commentators commentating on the match and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, especially that too, because like that. Not only are you done from there, like they're gonna analyze you. Like
Yep.
you better had made a couple good plays at the very least if you lost. You know what I'm saying? Like it better have been your fault that you lost. Maybe like a bricking situation, or maybe like your opponent just had the outs, but it better not be you. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, no, for real, for real.
Was there anything else that you wanted to mention from this event that kind of piqued your eye or you thought was notable?
I will always say, and I like we've been doing better with our production for NA, but man, like okay, like we've been getting better like with certain things, like especially including like certain casters. Like we have new casters that are being kind of like brought in, and I definitely do like that. And then on top of that, like some of the production values gone up. We've seen more duels in between matches, which I definitely like. They need to continue doing that as much as possible. But we're still not where EU is. Like they have a much
Nowhere
better
near it.
overlay. They have a much better highlight. They have a much better everything. So it's like I like some of the personality that we're bringing in, but there is actual like there's still a lot of room to grow compared to like where EU is at, and yeah, I mean we don't get the cool little like electric explosion during our events. Like what the hell, man? We need those. Like come on,
No, I
NA,
agree.
get it
I
together.
also think they need to get rid of Billy Break. He needs to stop fucking
Oh
commentating.
no, wait,
Yeah,
I
bro.
like
He
Billy.
said something about, oh, maybe I feel they should be
No.
lucky that I'm in this commentator booth and not out there competing with them because I can go ahead and collect up a couple of these trophies. And I'm like, you know what, Billy, go out there and compete, dog. Trust me, I'd
Yes.
rather hear someone else than
Yes.
hear your voice right now. I don't know. Maybe it's
Oh
just me. I
no.
don't think I got a vendetta
Oh
against the guy. I
no.
think it was just like I don't know
Nope, you heard it here first, folks.
something
X
about him.
hates Billy. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, no.
You heard it here. Breaking news.
Breaking
Semi-limited
news.
podcast host
No,
Player
no.
X is racist against Billy Break.
Yep. Yep.
But I also thought that they should include these Time Wizard events. I'm really gonna advocate that. I don't even like Time Wizard events, but I can advocate for them. They had if I'm not mistaken, it was 150 duelists that whittled down to just what top 8 because I think they only do top 8 for those shits regardless because it's exactly how those times
Yeah.
were. And it was won by a guy named Ruben Santana who was playing like Frog Hero or some shit like that. I don't play those decks, so I don't really know what formats are really being used in like what decks are in them and shit like that. But that's what I heard. But like those are the things that like they should have done on like a side stream, or if a stream is wrapping up and they have the chance to play something that's not the actual mainstream, they could play like little events like this that people can actually keep up with and be like, oh shit, look, a goat format, or oh look, Edison, or whatever the fuck it's coming down to, whatever Time Wizard event they want to throw. But it could be streamed as well so that people can get a taste or a flavor for how that shit goes too. Like those are also exciting moments that people want to relive and watch.
Well, it's also like a side of the game Konami is starting to actually cater to as well. So hopefully that is something we do see in the future. I think the more we see some of the problems with the game arising, in a way, the more a lot of those retro formats are becoming popular. I think a lot of players like right now have been deciding like, do they want to hop the ship? Do they want to stay at the Yu-Gi-Oh? And like a lot of the ones that are staying are like, if they're not happy with the format, they're like going to these retro formats as well. And like you said, like they're actually like having decent numbers for Time Wizard. They got the Dragon Duels. There's all sorts of like like other stuff we can actually stream, and it's rough because I know that that's actually like a lot of work to actually set something like that up just for like a side event. But I think it would be worth it, especially for like people that would be hyped up to go into a side event and actually be able to make it on a feature. They don't have to go to the main event and have like Snake Eyes, Fiend Smith to like get onto like the feature match table and stuff and be able to maybe pop off or get a little recognition. Because as we know, I mean, that's really nice for some recognition if you're able to pop off on a feature match. And I don't know, I just advocate more of it. It can't hurt to have more of it. And again, like as Konami is starting to cater a little bit more to the retro format, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's something they're going to do more in the future. I like, that'd be something that they would be smart in doing, is having at least some coverage, at least of like one
At
table,
the
maybe
very
even like the
least.
top four, like a table and then
Yeah.
into the top four, like for sure.
Absolutely. If they can put like all their random matches in that post feature like
Yeah,
slot
instead
or
of crowd
whatever,
watching.
they
Yeah.
could yeah, exactly. They could commit some time to this. Like I like to say that they don't have the resource management like is completely ludicrous. Like you have it, motherfucker. Stop playing.
Yeah,
You
they
got
just got to
it,
do it. They got to do it. And it takes time and it'll take a few events to get it down, but they need to like at some point
Which I'm
do
perfectly fine with,
something,
but like let's move towards a positive direction instead of just
Yeah.
staying as stagnant as we are.
Well, no, for sure. Like the staying with the thing that isn't working.
Big
So for
facts.
sure,
So
like for sure.
but moving on to other topics this evening, we still have some of the announcements to us from the Konamis as we speak of them. First of all, we have the announcement of the stainless steel Dark Magician Girl cards that are going going on sale in the TCG. It looks like if you can get your hands looks like if you got your hands on the Dark Magician or the Blue Eyes White Dragon Platinums, this is another card to add up to your collection as we be right down your alleyway. Looks like it is the Make Dark Magician's Apprentice Girl a part of your Yu-Gi-Oh collection with all new Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game stainless steel card Dark Magician Girl. Available to duelists in North America, Latin America, and Europe for the first time ever. Duelists will be able to purchase this exclusively numbered collectible starting July 24th, 2024. Making her first appearance in the Battle City arc, the Dark Magician Girl is one of the most expressive and empathetic of all Yugi Moto's arsenal of monsters. Whether she is snatching victory from the jaws of defeat by drawing on the power of Dark Magician, helping Yugi or Yami Yugi revive the legendary dragon Timaeus, Dark Magician Girl has been and always will be a cornerstone of the Yu-Gi-Oh universe, and now you can have a stainless steel version of this iconic card for your very own. The MSRP for this, I think, is $149.99 if I'm not mistaken. So it's $150, and it gets shipped out. I think I think last week they started shipping out. I want to say it was like the 12th that they started to do the first allocation of waves. So for those who, if you are super big connoisseurs or really big collectors, if you got yourself a Platinum Blue Eyes, if you got yourself the Dark Magician, this is another one to kind of add on to that little slab collection you got going on there. So you might as well dibble dabble in this, and it won't cost you $400 or $500 like the other ones were. This one's like $150. Nice little
Yeah, it's
neat.
not
Comes
bad.
with the little case. Yeah, exactly. It's not too bad. I still
No, that
think
ain't
that
bad
if
at
you're
all.
dibble dabbling with the collection, this is the one to start with, and then you can work your way up to those other big boys. But if you already got the big boys, now is your chance to kind of complete that collection. Get yourself some of these. So, secondly, we have a statement from Konami about their recognition of the power cards and decks of this format and announced that the ban list will be coming at the end of this month. They mention the strengths of cards like Feedsmith, Snake Eyes, and Yugioh specifically, but that doesn't mean that everything is off the table. So, Venge, what do you think might be on the list this time around? And do you think it's going to be a light list, or are we talking like Scorched Earth? We are burning this bitch down, have to start all over again. You just let us know your thoughts.
So I first off with the Scorched Earth opinion, I think we're gonna see a lot of hits. I don't know. Let's see. When you say Scorched Earth, do you mean just like we're gonna see hits, or we're gonna see hits and revivals? Because that's the thing I'm more.
I'm talking when I say Scorched Earth, I'm talking bans.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not talking
We
limits.
will
I'm not talking
probably
semi
see some
limits.
hits. Like I think with the ban list, I even did with my prediction. I don't think I put enough on there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of where I'm at. I think we were thinking that they were gonna do the normal patty cake BS that they've been doing with their ban list. Be like, all right, Link Haribo is the problem, guys. Like,
Yeah,
let's get that
exactly.
out of here, you know? And I low key was like, oh man, they're gonna do another one of those and they're just gonna milk and power creep it up. But honestly, I'm not so certain with that. Like on with what I think they are mentioning, how they're like, all right, we're gonna hold the ban list. We're gonna wait actual second, and then at that point, we're gonna like kind of analyze the meta, see what our tournaments do. Literally, even have an off meta, like an off season YCS to actually like investigate the issue. I think we're gonna see a lot of hits that are actually going to affect the meta. Whether that's be hitting Snake Eyes in multiple ways, the Diabellstar stuff in multiple ways. Maybe we'll see a hit to like the OSS. Maybe he see a hit to Snake Eyes. A lot of people want to see Flame Burge banned. They want to see Beatrice gone. They want to see, I mean,
Beatrice for sure.
potentially even like Tempai decks kind of trimmed down a little bit with a bunch of stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's like a problem deck. I think that's something that Konami might just hit because, like, when they're hitting everything else, that deck would definitely still like stick out like a sore thumb. Fiendsmith, I don't necessarily know if they're gonna hit Fiendsmith itself or if they're gonna go ahead and just ban Lurie outright just to get rid of that whole problem. I'm not too sure. That's just kind of something that like a lot of players could like theorize. But again, we have
Another
fabled
motherfucker
support coming
going
out.
down for the sins of someone else.
And again, it's like I don't know if they would because like again, we have fabled support coming out in the future. So it's like it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, Lurie would be banned, but at the same time, maybe they would be banned because like the support would be broken with it because all it does is special summon and it's out once per turn. So
Big facts.
lots of stuff
I'll
with
ban
that.
1,000 light fiends before I let this company die.
Exactly. So, Scorched Earth, I think, is something I'm more curious to see if they actually do a lot of revival on this list to be like, all right, this comes back, these are back. You know, my whole thing is I definitely want Dragon Rulers to 3. I mean, I mean, I guess is an okay start, but no, I want them to 3. Just things like that. So I want to see
Yeah.
how drastic the meta actually gets switched up and like if they're going to hit things like Runic, are they going to hit things like the Whitewoods, I just things I want to kind of be like seeing, or not necessarily seeing those hits, but I'm just more interested in seeing exactly like you're saying, like how much they hit and then what they bring back.
Well, I do agree that if they can't just hit the best deck of the room. They can't just hit Snake Eyes. This whole list cannot just be Snake Eyes on it. I'm a Tempai player, and I even agreed that, hey, we got some cards that could be addressed. If not, I'm not saying we need any bans, but we got some cards that definitely, if left unchecked, can be like, all right, this is like a little toxic. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there are other cards in other formats, like you said, like everyone's kind of hopping on that Whitewoods, like the Runic shit. Like, Runic might need another fucking tap on the wrist or something like that, just because I'm so tired of motherfuckers drawing 8 cards on their turn just because Fountain's at 2 and they can see both of them. And of course,
Yeah,
when I
there's nothing
stopped the
wrong with
fucking
them. It's
Hugin, they already had another one in their hand, so it didn't matter. So, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that is what really kind of like grinds my gears with that deck itself. But you can't just hit Snake Eyes because then everything else is just going to be rampant. Like we'll just have a whole bunch of Bell players out. Now Bell's the best deck, and then we're going to call for a ban for actual Bell for vanilla ass Bell soon because of all the Fiendsmith power creeps or power ceiling that they have that basically wasn't kept in check by Snake Eyes anymore. So it's going to be very, very. I don't want to say tiptoe, but they're going to have to very precisely dedicate some time to figure out what needs to get like what they want their format to look like because like they got to have an idea in their head as to like what they're like going for, like what decks they're trying to like get you to either invest into or maybe play, shine some light on. But I don't see much coming off to kind of help sell cards. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the only sellable cards right now are the Fiendsmith engine, and there's nothing that could come off that's like a late fiend that they could really necessarily abuse. That I would say, all right, cool, let's ban Snake Eyes, Ash, and Flamberge for. But I'd still at the same point in time just don't think that they can just be like, all right, yeah, Snake Eyes is the only problem in the format, and that's it. Like, I still think Phantom being able to bring back all the bricks into the deck and then turn itself into a negate that's not once per turn on summon and they can just play three of, that shit's toxic. The field spy for Tempai being able to say, yeah, I don't give a fuck what you just built on your board. I'm unaffected and I'm going into a monster that says you can't even activate cards in the next phase. So that shit's a little bit toxic. Whitewoods being able to fucking loop their skill drain and all their floodgates because they can grab any spell or trap from the graveyard to reset. That's a little toxic. You know what I'm saying? So like we have some things that we need to address, and I just don't think that banning Snake Eyes outright is the only thing that's gonna save the format. I think it's gonna require a little bit of other decks to be hindered in some way, shape, or form.
No, and I think that would definitely be something that they have to, like you were saying, highly consider, and hopefully they have considered it with the extra time they've been allotted. Because like if you just kill the Snake Eyes, like you were mentioning, like Yugioh would just pop up. If they go down, it'll be Whitewoods, things like that. And I do think Konami will be trimming the top off a lot of decks right now. I think it, like you were mentioning, it will be more than Snake Eye. I think that deck will
It
see
has to
quite
be.
the hit, exactly. But no, Phantom is probably gonna see some sort of limitation on the ban list, or at least I would
Yeah,
assume we'd see a limiting of it on the ban list.
57% of the top cut representation was Snake Eyes, and then right behind that was 19% Ubel, with everyone
Yeah,
else coming in at like 7% or something
and
like
they're
that.
both
So it's like,
using the Fiendsmith,
yeah,
so
yeah, I think 95% of all of those topping deck lists had. I think there was only one Ubel that wasn't playing Fiendsmith, just pure
yeah,
Ubel, but
yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. And I don't know, again, and that makes the question of like, okay, well, are they going to hit the Fiendsmith stuff with like, what would they hit? Would they limit something? Would they limit the Fiendsmith right out already? Or would they just go ahead and hit the Lori? Like that, those are all kind of like questions I want to say, and like, or like, I kind of want answered or just more interested in seeing what they do with that. And then like you were mentioning like Tempai, that is definitely something I think they're going to trim down a bit, because like if everything else gets trimmed down and then Tempai does, and that deck will just
Yeah,
destroy
yeah,
everything,
it'll
honestly.
be too strong.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
for
they'll
sure.
probably put Pydra to one or some
Yeah, no,
crazy shit.
it'll be something like,
It's gonna
not
have
too
to be.
sure.
But since we're already on the topic, because it's our last topic of the night, I was just thinking because like we're going to be getting this ban list soon because Konami's announced that at the end of August is coming. They didn't say what week of August, which is the real detrimental part, but whatever. Whether it's this week or next week, we're gonna get one. My thing is, everyone's getting their hopes and prayers up that the list actually comes, and let's just say it does, and it fucking sucks. We're in a state of the game right now where people are like super on edge about this TCG, from the way it's ran to the rewarding its player bases to just even the game itself and just how fast and power creep its progression and shit like that. But if the ban list doesn't bring about an like absolute change, what do you think could happen? Like, do you think that we're gonna see waves of people quitting because it's just the last straw? Is not only are we not getting good prizes or any cash outs or anything like that, but now they're not switching up their pricing at all, and they're still giving us the same weak ban list to try to like fuel their pockets. Like, do you think this might be the last straw for people, or is it just going to be one of those things where they're just going to suck it up and deal with it and keep playing regardless?
I think some players would just like suck it up and keep playing. I think that would actually be more than like a lot of players would like expect, honestly.
Or want to
Some will
admit?
quit. Yeah, one to admit is like one. Some will quit, obviously, but I think those are players that aren't like heavily invested in the game with like collections and stuff like that, which I understand. I think more than anything, we'll see like people take a break from the game, and honestly, that might be something that players do or want to do already. Because for instance, like even if we have a killer ban list that's just like really, really, really good, there's still a lot of things that have to happen for players to feel better about the game. Like that's not fixing a lot of the main issues. And like, I mean, like again, it could be the best ban list. I don't even know what the hell that would look like. And everyone's like, "Oh, I'm playing my favorite deck, and it works." And I mean, some players don't want to see that. You know, they don't want to see 60 decks working. But so it's like,
Yeah, they
yeah,
don't.
I don't know if
Yeah.
there's even gonna be a way to fix that type of issue because players simply want different things. But when we're talking about the actual pricing, we just got the another verse Solari or Solar or whatever
Yeah,
the heck it
Solaria,
is.
whatever the fuck it
Yeah,
is.
Solaria. And it's like so that's our prize for the next year now. You know, that's done. And I
Confirmed.
know
That's it.
they
Done. Yeah.
confirmed. Yeah. So it's like that's not getting fixed. But I know there was like that what was going on? There was like a little like survey or something that they were doing, I
They were
think.
asking if uh YCSs or what would you
Just
like
in
to see
general.
in pricing or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So 4 Nintendo Switches, please. But
Correct.
like so like there's something there. You know what I mean? Like there's something there. There's something literally there where they're like, no, we're holding back the ban list. We want to eyeball a little more. We're looking at like a survey to ask about prizes. Like they're clearly aware of issues, and like the thing is a lot of times this is kind of like a slow snowball effect where it's like right now we're seeing issues and people starting to complain, but these have been here for a while. Like these issues have been here for a very long time, and like before we have anything addressed, these issues are going to like seem like they get worse. Okay, because like it's like a time delay. Okay, it's like water with like ripples and crap. Okay, where it's like we're just now seeing it's like, oh my god, all these other games. It almost took other TCGs to get people to realize like, oh my god, this is kind of rough. Okay, and it's like, oh, Lorcana's there, Pokemon's there. I mean, Pokemon Worlds was just insane, you know, and obviously everyone sees the
Yeah.
post right now, like, oh, it's like $30 to $60 to build a deck that wins the entire Worlds, and you have like 100,000 people cheering for you, and
It's
Worlds
kind of
for the
lit. Kind
United
of looks
States
lit.
for like,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
like, yeah, exactly. It looks good and it's appealing to the competitors, you know, like, especially to the competitors. I'm a collector. I like Yu-Gi-Oh! For other reasons. That's not appealing to me. But if you're someone who's taking dubs all the time and the only reason you're in here is to take some dubs, does it matter where you take the dubs at? And if you're going to be getting more money, probably not, you know? And eventually that's going to creep in regardless of a ban list or not. Okay, like the ban list could be perfect. You're still gonna get a switch. You're still gonna get the another verse Solaire, yeah, or whatever the heck the name of the stupid card that you're not gonna play is. Okay, and like again, it's like Konami could technically release like a cool card that like summons them from the deck, but it's just there's just so much work that they need to do. Okay, and like this isn't something that's gonna happen in a year's worth of time, and that's like guaranteed at this point. Like they've basically the moment that another verse was announced the whole year was basically guaranteed of you're
And
not
yeah,
going to enjoy this, okay? Unless they basically start amping up prizes mid-year, which I unfortunately don't see them doing that.
I don't see that either.
You're going to not like so again, are you going to take a break of the game? Well, guys, if that's what if the ban list thing is on your alley or like it's the prizes or whatever and you're already thinking about it, you might want to already do that. Okay, and I don't
Yeah.
like to say that. Okay, if you're literally seriously considering not
Now tell
enjoying this
them
game, and
niggas.
I'm not saying quit. I'm not saying sell all your
I'm
stuff and
saying
put
quit.
your well,
Fucking
I mean,
hang it up, bums.
nah. As all my friends who quit are very sad they got rid of their stuff, so I'm never like the first to like do that. But like my whole thing is like they need to see people taking a break at the very least, you know, and it's like they like fill out the survey, let them know what you want, let them know we want exclusive stuff. I know everyone's like I want money. That's not going to happen. All right, let me be the first to say that will never happen unfortunately, okay? But there are a lot of things they can give us that are worth a lot of money. that we can do a lot of stuff with. So I mean, I think that's just something we can debate, whether that's full art, like super chocolatey, rare ash blossom, or other cards. You can debate that all day. But it is something that they're gonna have to solve. And I'll be honest, like if it's not solved by next year, I don't know what to even say for the game at that point. But like my big thing is like, if you're thinking about exploring these other games for the prizes, might want to do so. My friends are in One Piece; they don't seem to be wanting to come back. The ones that are playing that new Star Wars game, not wanting to come back to anything. They've been gone from
Yeah, I
Yu-Gi-Oh
heard
for
about that.
quite some time, and those are people that's been out of Yu-Gi-Oh for a while. Okay, like a lot of them, and
Granted.
for the same reasons. And the other thing too is it's like if you're someone who wants to stay in the game, but this isn't up your alley and you don't want to invest into decks that like aren't worth it, then it's like you need to think about again these alternative formats, collecting, trade flipping, you know what I mean, or whether you're paperclip trading for some staples that are cheap now that will just be good no matter what later on,
Yep.
things like
Yep.
that, like working on a personal collection or just I don't know, spending your time doing something else. I don't know. I mean, I hate saying that because it's like I love the game. I'm gonna do my thing in the game. I'm gonna still make content and stuff. But it's like I understand where the competitors are a little annoyed, and I can't say that even the perfect ban list will even remedy it.
I don't think it could because I think it's just more than just a layer of just
Yeah,
ban lists.
Yu-Gi-Oh has a
It's
lot of issues.
multi-layered right now. Exactly. There's a whole
Yeah, you have
bunch,
the
and they're
time, you have the
just
pricing,
all
like
exactly. There's the pricing, the mechanics of the game,
yep,
power creep, the amount and the pace at which product is released to the player base. Like it's like every 3 weeks we get a new product. Like you
yeah,
can't even save up for the chase card from the old set because the chase card from the new set's coming up in 2 weeks, and you got to start saving for that. So you know what I'm saying? Like there's just so much going on with this game, and I really think and it's not even like if by themselves they're big issues. It's the fact that they're all stacked on top of each other. Like this if this ban list doesn't do what I guess the player base expects it to do, which is quote unquote fix the game, which is a very big responsibility and call for within itself. There are going to be a lot of complaining, and not to say that there's not a lot of complaining anyway. People are going to find something to complain about regardless. You motherfuckers just love complaining, but there is going to be a lot of merited complaining that I think that people are going to, as we talked about in last episode, either we all quit or none of us quit because we all accept the fact that we're not in it for the pricing. We're not in it for the financial investments. We're in it to be the best duelist in whatever format with whatever ban list we have. Or we all stop playing and we say no, it's not about just the playing or the title quote unquote of being the king of games. It's about having what's fair for the rest of the player base, which includes better pricing, better events, better streams, like better investments into the game itself that we're all pouring our hard earned time, money, and soul into. Like that's where I think it really comes down to. Like it's not even like the one ban list this is gonna fix it. I think it'll just hold us over for a couple of months with the complaining. But they've got a whole bunch of other slew of things to address, and if those don't get addressed with it, we're just going band-aids over these wounds instead of like actually addressing the problem.
yeah. And the other thing is they gotta again, it will take time. So it just is important that they're vocal about some of the issues that they're addressing behind the scenes, while they're taking the
Yeah,
time to do it.
transparency.
Yeah, because like that's kind of one of the biggest things too is like, if things are getting rough at your job and you're going to have like whatever like's going on because something broke or you need to do something because of a new policy and there's a time for like transitioning periods, like normally the management will give you a heads up, you know what I mean, and be like, hey,
Yeah,
this might be a little rough, please don't quit. I mean, it's going to be not like this forever, can you just champ it out? We'll be buying everyone food or make it lax on the Friday, just make it a little more easy on the transition, honestly. And that's something they need to like really do because it's like now obviously they're doing a survey, so it's like, oh well, they know we're fixing it. It's like, nah, bro, you gotta like. There's some people who don't even know about the survey, honestly. Like, there's a lot of people
even
like the
them.
thing I learned about like Yu-Gi-Oh is like a lot of it like people are casual too, and they still hate the game. Like, so
But like even they're trying to communicate, which means
yeah.
they have the capacity to
Oh well,
communicate.
yeah. Oh
You
well,
know what I'm
they
saying? Which even
absolutely
makes it
have it.
even bigger. So like you can put us, you're just now in 2020 fucking four putting surveys on your fucking little websites to get our opinion when you could have had opened up Twitter and scrolled through for 30 seconds to hear everyone's real opinions on your game, or like what opinions are needed, or I guess hold value, share weight, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck it is. But like, you guys are just now using a survey, the most outdated way. Like, bro, you guys have competitions and giveaways where they have to enter, and you take all their
Yeah.
fucking information and comments and shit and send them out cards. And it's like, bro, there's no fucking way that a survey on a link that no one's ever gonna go to because it's on the Konami website about a YCS when they can just watch the stream should be your way of communicating with us. And the fact that you're even asking means that you have the capacity to. And if this is the best way of communicating, once again, add that shit to the list of fucking problems.
I mean, I think we should ask the Shadow Duelist about the survey. You know, he maybe the Shadow Duelist should be the one doing the survey, Mr. Saw guy. Yeah,
Yeah, might as well fucking be shit.
because they have like 16 clips of that guy, basically like doing everything, and again, like no survey on the actual Twitter. So yeah, I don't
And I'm
know.
just
I mean,
saying,
they
it's
definitely
just
have the
weird to me,
capacity.
right? Conspiracy theories. There's a bunch of other things that they need to get in check, but it's going to start with this ban list to get people off their backs. And then from there, they got a long list of things to check off to get this game into the proper direction, I would say. But that's just me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And again, I think they need to like be vocal that they're actually considering these changes because I think my whole thing is after what happened in the last Master Rule, or like I guess the big one that messed all the summonings up and everything. I guess 4. So it's like I think they're just trying to avoid having to do a Master Rule again to like switch the game up. I think they're just trying to actually change the game from inside itself, and I think that's why we don't see time rules or different things like that yet. But I think they're getting to the point where it's like they might have to do a tweak or something. And I don't even want to see another master rule unless it's something like, oh, turn 2 player starts with 6 card but doesn't draw. It has to be something that doesn't
The man wants to go
literally that.
backwards.
I mean, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Didn't they used to start with 6 cards regardless?
No. Like, well, turn player drew, going first drew. But
Oh,
what I
you're
mean
talking
is
about going
like,
second. You start with 6,
yeah,
while turn 1 player starts with 5.
yes, yeah, but you
Okay,
don't
that's
draw.
something
But you
that's
don't
different.
draw. But you don't draw. Yeah,
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 yeah.
no, that would
Like,
make
yeah,
sense. But you start with that
yeah,
6 card.
yeah. But you get a better chance to having an out. It just
Yeah, or at
increases
least
the
knowing
7.
what
It's
your
like a
next turn is gonna
7%
look like.
increase. Yeah, it's just exactly. It's just something that it's like it won't destroy what we know as Yu-Gi-Oh, but potentially like because like they were testing going second for a while, and that was just something that like could potentially doesn't kill the game. Like I said, it's not like, oh, you can only summon to these zones, or you can't use your entire deck the exact way it was designed and sold to you and packaged to you, and advertised. So I think they're just trying to keep from having to do anything drastic. Again, it's like it's going to be a lot of work on their end if that's something they want to do without a master rule change or anything. But just
No,
printing
I agree.
cards, like,
And I don't think we need a master rule change because I don't
no,
think we're that far gone.
no.
But I do think that something needs to change. If it's not the master rule, that it's the mechanics of the way that they're running this game. But that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? They can listen to me ramble, or they can continue to do what they're gonna do because that's exactly what they've been doing for the last 25 quarter century years. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So. But I'm starting to take a bunch of your guys' time, so we are starting to run out of life points here. I got this man here for almost an hour on our comeback episode. So just to remind you guys of some of the things that we said earlier, be sure to go check out that Linktree link down below in the description box. You can click on that to have the tab pull up of all of our social sites. You can follow. Basically, you can find all the social sites that we're doing all of our giveaways on. So by following them as well, 50 followers on TikTok, 100 on Twitter, 200 on IG and Discord, and 500 on YouTube are the next goals. So be sure to share, tag a friend, exactly like what you would do right now, and you could help not only us out but also get us closer to getting back something for you guys as well. Also, shout out to Unplugged Gaming in Banlist, New York. Be sure to check out their Discord server in the description box below to be part of their TCG communities because they sponsor the podcast. Mad love to them. And then also, be sure to catch Brad, aka Mr. Perfect, live streaming on Twitch every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And his Twitch stream is also in our Linktree link down below. I just want to thank our guests for coming on basically for the 1800,000th time, and we're going to have him on 800,000 more times, and for donating his time today for the platform. Is there anything last minute you want to say, last shout outs, plug-ins, final thoughts on tonight? Any of the last things you want to get out?
I mean, as always, thank you again for having me on. It is a blast, and I will be on all 800 of those times again, for sure, for sure. Big shout out to T-Hug Pie. T-Hug314, he's the dude who does my
Thugger.
thumbnails. Yep, Thugger. He is awesome. I love him so much. Just shout out to the wife, family, friends. As always, just kind of like all the best
Yeah,
people in
shout
my
outs
life.
to the New York trip that you guys are going to be taking soon.
No, for sure, exactly. And again, if you want to find the content, definitely do check me out on YouTube. That is Vengeful Shadows, Shadows with a 0WZ. Vengeful Shadows on YouTube, where we do market watches, top 10 videos, cards we picking up before they kind of spike in price, and even how to beat videos like kind of how to beat the top decks that are coming out. And we're going to be doing a video on Malice soon, stuff like that. So know how to beat the meta before it is even the meta. So again, guys, that is on YouTube and X as well. But if you follow me on any of those, you will have a link to the other one. So,
and his channel will be in our description box down below, so be sure to go check him out, follow all that great content out there, and you'll love him the same way I fell in love with him as well. But with all that being said, guys, we are all out of life points. Thank you so much for listening to another episode. I will try to get you guys on Friday. My life has been a little hectic with the truck breaking down. I have my dog been sick, throwing up for like the last 2 or 3 days, so I've just now had enough time to squeak in and get you guys an episode, and I will try to do that again at the end of the week. If not, I will catch you next week for another jam-packed episode and hopefully more better guests now that the YCS is over and some of the top pros have more free time in their schedule. I'll try to make sure I get something interesting for you guys as well. But with that being said, I am Player X, and you've been listening to the Semi-Limited Podcast. Thank you, and good night.